Welcome to Talk Across America. I'm Doug Miles, and we're here in beautiful Sarasota, Florida. And joining us now on our Book Talk segment, great to welcome a woman who's written a very interesting and helpful book, I'm sure. It's called You're Not Lost, an inspired action plan for finding your own way. We're joined today by Maxie McCoy. She's a writer, speaker, also hosts an live audience show called Let Her Speak, and she joined us by telephone today. Maxie, good to talk with you. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Had a chance to read through the book. Now, I know it's geared toward women, but I'm imagining you wrote it as well. Men can benefit from this book as well, I would hope, right?
Oh, they absolutely can. That's been one of the fun surprises. You know, I wrote it because I've been working with women my whole career, but men are loving it so far, which is making me really happy because I think we all feel lost at some point.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you.
But you do bring up a point in the book, and it tends to, at least from my experience, just, watching TV and, talking to people, that women tend to feel more lost maybe than men, or maybe they talk about it more. Is that it?
Yeah, I think what is going on specifically in that is that we are really faced with a lot of messages that tell us we need to change in order to begin. And I think that's, a main gender difference. And so the more that we can just come back to, we've got ourselves, that's all that we really need, the easier figuring out our own path will be.
Yeah, I guess since women now, in the last, say, 40 years, more involved in career as opposed to, the previous couple of generations, that it's added that to it, and also the fact maybe women, they also want to have families, so that adds that pressure, I guess, right, or the angst.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there's all kinds of pressure, and there's a lot of different paths that somebody can take, and all of them are welcomed, and all of them are possible. So sometimes that abundance of options can be a challenge as well.
You break it down into three milestones in the book, ditch, create, and rise. Can you give a quick rundown of what each of those are?
Yeah, so ditch is really about letting go of the mindsets that are keeping us feeling lost and paralyzed and unable to get into action. And then create is about really what we are doing once that momentum and that wheel is turning. What are those small steps that we can actually be taking, and who do we need around us in order to do that? And then rise is what happens when that wheel is really moving and we're starting to open up the path. But sometimes, expansion brings with it some uncomfortable feelings, and how we can handle all of that.
Yeah, I think you mentioned in ditch, that's the toughest thing to probably get over first, because we all have those, like you said, trapped mindsets. I mean, that's, speaking as a guy too, we all have that, but I guess women tend to, like you said, I'm maybe more involved with that, but that's the toughest thing. Once you get through that, then the creation part opens up, and then after that, you hope you rise, right? So that the first one's the toughest.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
In your life, and you talk a little bit about it in the book, you've had great success, but you've had some challenges as well. So what kind of brought you to writing the book at this time?
Yeah, for me, I went through a couple of years of feeling really lost. And then when I realized that I wasn't the only one, and then as I had created my path, kind of looking back and remembering how tough that time was, changing from sports broadcasting into women's leadership, very different experiences. It came from so many conversations with so many people, and them all feeling the same way. And, it just kind of felt like it was a gift to me, that this idea of being lost, that I needed to go and talk to a lot of people. I had talked to a lot of people that felt that way, and weave together a solution.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. The sports broadcasting, you kind of started in that career, or were in that career for a while, and obviously, even though there's more women in it now, still pretty much a men's profession. Did you find that was one of the issues that you had to deal with at that time, or was that not part of it?
I mean, it all was layered, right? It was all a part of it. There's lots of different experiences that you go through of kind of looking around, and there's so few other women in that industry. I was lucky to have, a really powerful female mentor at ESPN that was very helpful, and some really helpful people in Dallas. But yeah, I just realized that this wasn't, reading sports scores off a teleprompter for the rest of my life wasn't really what I wanted. So if that's the case, then what is it that I want? And that was a really hard question to answer for a couple of years, to be honest.
Yeah, it seems to me, just as a guy, I've done sports, casting myself, still do some on the side, but there's not that many women, like you said. The jobs for women seem to be the sideline reporters, either in football or baseball or basketball or studio. You don't see too many women doing play-by-play. There's a couple, but there's not too many.
Not too many. There's still a lot of progress and a lot of, just strides that we can make there, and in a lot of industries. Sports broadcasting isn't the only one.
You're talking in the book, I like this line you had, worry less about the big picture and focus on the small actions. I think we all kind of get caught up in that sometimes, and it just paralyzes you from doing what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah, it does. We have become so obsessed with that end goal, and anyone who's ever achieved a goal and then felt the bottom fall out knows that, just because you have a goal that you've said you're going to achieve doesn't necessarily mean that you have found direction in your life. And I think that's what's important to understand is the power that direction can have over a set destination. Direction gives you so much freedom. There's so many options into what that could end up looking like, versus if you obsess over a destination, you could miss the entire process entirely.
Yeah. And then again, the funny chapter at the end, I won't say the word, bat blank grateful. You can say it if you like, but that kind of sums it all up, though. I mean, be grateful, be appreciative of every step along the way, right?
Yeah, it's really just about knowing, I think we talk a lot about gratitude, and we hear it a lot in self-help and motivation. And, I was somebody who was like, I'm going to do a gratitude journal every year for my New Year's resolution, and it never really clicked until I read a story from Oprah's What I Know for Sure about when she was at the height of her success. She felt the least fulfilled, and she pointed it, to the fact that she had stopped her gratitude journal. And I think it's just a reminder that, you can be at the height of everything and still not feel it. If you're unwilling to find the good in today, there won't be any good in tomorrow. And, some chapters of our lives, that's more difficult than others, but it's important, and it will rewire the brain to feel better.
Yeah. Yeah, good advice. And the book is filled with a lot of great tips and stories of you along the way, which makes it a fun read. Again, not just for women, but men can get something out of it too. I'm sure. You're Not Lost, an inspired action plan for finding your own ways, the full title. And we've been talking with Maxie McCoy today. Maxie, give out your website if you would. People get more information about the book.
Yeah, it's MaxieMcCoy.com. That's MaxieMcCoy.com. And then all of my social handles are at Maxie McCoy.
Great. Maxie, pleasure talking to you. Hopefully we can do it again. Thanks for being with us.
I hope so, too. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us today on Talk Across America. Please visit our website at DougMilesMedia.com for more great interviews and content. And if you're interested in any of the books we talk about on the program, please click the Amazon link on our website. It helps support the podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again real soon here from beautiful Sarasota, Florida.
I'm Stan Brock. 30 years ago, I formed Remote Area Medical to help people overseas. But then we found generations of families in America isolated by poverty from the health care they need. Together, we can take dental, vision, and medical help to 1 million adults and their kids, right here at home in the United States of America.